Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odengo. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon, and some of the stories that we shall be taking a look at include the preparations of the Jubilee National Delegates Conference set to be held Monday. Other stories that we shall be looking at include matters health, matters education, among others. Remember, you can interact with us on our social media handles at KBC Channel 1. Now, to kick us off, a section of political leaders from the North Rift has hailed President William Ruto's move to crack the whip on graft. Tinderet lawmaker Julius Mele and his Kisses counterpart Julius Ruto say corruption has for a long time been the biggest stumbling block in achieving economic stability.
For zero tolerance in corruption. Whatever you have done in KEMSA is good, and we urge you, any other person playing with public office, they need to go home. We are behind you, and we know you are going to make it.
Including your own officers that you appointed the other day, by not asking them to step aside for investigation, but rather to tell them, go home as you wait investigation to proceed, and allow other people to take space and serve the Republic of Kenya. And this will be a call to public officers in every cadre, that we have a president that is ready to fight corruption, starting from his house, starting from his office.
And that last government used to say, we are let people step aside. But he's very straightforward. He told the guys, you must go home. He sacked them.
In other news, the National Integrity Alliance has opposed the nomination of Director of Public Prosecutions Nordin Haji as the next Director General of the National Intelligence Service. The alliance has cited a compromised track record and failure of Haji to fulfill his constitutional obligations as the DPP, among other reasons, saying it is ready to challenge Haji's nomination in court. The integrity watchdog will also petition the Public Service Commission to have Haji removed from office, even as they plan to table a memorandum to the National Assembly Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations. President William Ruto nominated Haji to succeed Major General Philip Kameru, who is serving his final term. The National Integrity Alliance has opposed the nomination of the Director of Public Prosecution Nordin Haji.
In the past 8 months, Kenyans have been astonished by a pattern of the withdrawal of corruption cases involving certain politically connected individuals, a number of whom have since been appointed to executive positions, which raises doubts about the DPP's impartiality and his commitment to fighting corruption, a pervasive problem that continues to hinder Kenya's progress.
We have seen the challenges where the parliament is just being used as a conveyor belt. But we hope on this matter they are going to be more serious. If then they end up endorsing him for final appointment, we'll go to court at all levels.
The National Intelligence Alliance will continue to advance the Red Card initiative to bar individuals that fall short of our constitutional, ethical, and moral requirements from ascending into public office.
On matters education stakeholders in private schools in Kisii County say they are still grappling with a myriad of challenges in the implementation of junior secondary school learning. Teachers at St. Vincent de Paul Boys Primary Boarding School cite unaffordable prices of course books and equipment, shortage of teachers and multiplicity of subjects. They, however, acknowledge that key education stakeholders were being involved in the implementation of the competence-based curriculum with a view of tackling the constraints. Education stakeholders in private schools in Kisii say
the equipments that are there are very expensive. They are very expensive, but we are trying to make sure that we avail those equipments so that the learners can carry on with the practicals. We have the number of books The boys have really complained that we have so many learning areas, and you find that it is very difficult for them to cope up with the situation.
Our pupils, whom we call currently students, have received this CBC positively, and really it is helping them so much. You can see it on how they carry out their activities from one learning area to another one.
The journey to strengthen the political authority in East Africa community is on course. Justice Dr. Benjamin Odoki, retired Chief Justice of Uganda and chairman to a committee of experts appointed at the EAC summit to draft the constitution for the proposed political confederation of EAC, said drafting of the EAC constitution is at an advanced stage. He was speaking in Garissa during the public participation exercise to collect people's view for drafting the constitution. Fatuma Yusuf, from a resident of Garissa Wajir, urged the committee to ensure inclusivity in the regional governance system. Hassan Noor asked the committee to ensure a borderless region.
So we shall move pole stage by stage to reach the political union of East Africa, which means one country, one government, and one people. So we are moving towards that stage. But before we reach there, we shall have this interim stage where the countries retain their sovereignty. They still be sovereign states, but they will give up some powers at the center so that the center can be a little stronger to hold the federal states together.
On the issue of able differently, we have representation as any other person in the East Africa Legislative Assembly, in the decision-making tables, in the political arena, in the governance structure, so that we also incorporated and feel being part and parcel of the East African community.
Now, with this confederation, it will give us an opportunity to be together, to visit, to remarry one another from our other communities on the neighboring sites. On the production side, you will find that there will be more resources available easily for the member states' citizens, such that if something is not available in Somalia or in Kenya, then we can get it from South Sudan or Republic of Congo.
Moving on, leaders in Embu County now want a bigger share of ongoing multi-million shilling construction projects in the county to go to local contractors. Kirimari Ward MCA Ibrahim Swale says local contractors could be subcontracted to take on some aspects of the big projects. This, he says, will help them build capacity as well as improve the local economy.
Zaidi ningependa pia niombe tu serikali kwamba contractors ambao wanapewa hizi kazi, tuone kazi mingi pia zikipewa local contractors, ili zile pesa ambazo zinakuja ziweze kufaidi watu wa Embu, kwa sababu hakuna haja pia tupate miradi mikubwa na contractors ambao ni wa Embu pia hawapati nafasi. Tungependa pia wapewe hizi nafasi, na kama itakuwa ni mradi mkubwa zaidi, hata kama sio contract, wafanywe kitu tunaita subcontracting, ili pia nao waweze kupata nafasi kufanya kazi katika miradi hii.
Embu vile iko saa hii, utapata vijana wengi sana wameanza kufaidika na zile kidogo tumeanza kupata, na vijana Embu wamejitolea sana. Utapata hizi contracts zile zinapatikana, hata unywaji wa pombe unashuka sana because watu wako very very busy, na vijana wamejitolea. Ni kazi tu huwa hawapati opportunity, na tumeona contractors wote hapa Embu wame-ensure that wakipata hiyo kazi locals ndio wanaajiriwa, hawabagui. Hata saa hii mashini ambayo iko nyuma yangu inaoperatiwa na msichana.
Yule jamaa anamtoa kwa nini anasema
Nandi County Deputy Governor Dr. Yulita Cheruiyot has condemned the escalating gender-based violence in tertiary institutions. The Deputy Governor says that the vice which appears to be taking root in tertiary institutions must be nipped in the bud. Dr. Yulita says students increasingly become a target of the vicious cycle, hence the need to raise awareness and protect the learners from predators.
Tumeshuhudia watoto wengi wetu wakiuawa. Hello? And especially our girls going to colleges. Ukisikia siku hizi mtoto msichana ameuawa ni kutoka Nandi. Msichana wa college ameuawa anatoka sehemu zetu ya Rift Valley. What is the problem? Na una ruksa ya kuchukua maisha ya mwenzako hata kama amekukosea. Just walk away. Kama kumeharibika enda kwenu akufuate. Kwa sababu pia wewe ni helper lakini umekuja kufanya kazi kubwa kuliko yeye.
Well, that report brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
Nikikona kazona waza sikukuta mimi jamani mashallah.
Chama Sunday, what is going on?
What is going on, Wabe?
Karatasi ndakutia wapi?
Ya kusuilia unyevu na umomonyoko wa maji kwenye nguo zako.
Amata wasaba.
Ya bwana. Hey.
Congratulations. Wow.
Kai? Ni sumu mbaya sana hii. Sumu. Unanyolewa. Very good.
Wewe tatika. Friday prasa ya makanika ndio unaweka kwa masikio.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
Mimi kama mtoto wa kiume nilihadharika sana. Licha ya kuwa huu ni mchezo wa kiakili, sio misuli, hii ni dhihirisho ya kumpa mtoto wa kiume apite tu. Katika sheria, mtoto wa kiume na mtoto wa kike ni sawia. Mbona tukifika katika kitengo cha jinsia tuwateue?
Jiwe na nazi gani kali huwezi kueleza.
Ilikuwa ni heri niwe soba kuliko ulevi, nifanye niwe stio so kwa ba. Na jumisi form 3 leader na jua pombe inaharibu form ya liver.
Mtoto wa kike angaliwe kama maziwa jikoni. Tutapanua mbawa zetu ili kila mtoto wa kike apate afueni.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
Kuna mahali kwingine naweza tafuta kazi.
Na nikisema nitakutafutia kazi mahali nyingine.
Niliona tu kifo hivi na macho. Nilisema hata ni appreciate marafiki zangu.
Amen.
Hata siku nimekuja kukaa.
Sawa, kwaheri.
Taonana.
Madam, out neja.
Amemgeuka kama kinyonga. Ninaenda nadanganya.
How much do you want?
28,000 only.
Hey, mom.
Wewe Jabali, kwani unakubali mama yako akufundishe uongo?
Are you sure she's sick? The other day she was hallucinating.
Nilikuwa nikitaka nije nikae kwako hata kama ni wiki moja. Mkiniangalia tu vile niko.
I honestly think she's going mad. Just stop calling.
Give me your phone.
Hapana.
The shame and guilt will not allow him to listen to you.
I'm just tired.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. Psychologists have urged clerics to not only pray for people who suffer from mental illness, but also take them for medical treatment. Dr. Rose Keiro, a clinical psychologist, says it is unfortunate that some clerics have been taking advantage of people ailing from psychological disorders and subjecting them to prayer sessions. She further noted that there is an urgent need to address the causes of depression and addiction that have led to a rise in cases of suicide or killings among corpers.
If there is an illness, it requires treatment. For prevention, they can do. Because when there is faith, when there is hope, the medical illnesses are reduced.
When we talk about mental health awareness, we get an understanding of who we are. We get an understanding of better ways of getting help.
United Sacco is celebrating 3 decades of service to over 400,000 members, bringing dreams to life for individual farmers and organized groups. Chief Executive Officer Martin Mohoho says the Sacco has expanded to 28 branches spread across 13 counties, with members drawn from farmers groups, salaried individuals, SMEs and chamas.
Unitas has 400,000 members, 28 branches, 3 marketing offices spreading across the country. That is 13 counties in Kenya. Our members are drawn from farmers groups, salaried individuals, SME and chamas. The youth consists of 10% of our members and have a borrowing capacity of about Kenya shillings 1.5 billion. Further, the youth account for 25% of saving account holders. I assure you that leadership has a clear vision for the Sacco as outlined in our strategic plans.
Still on education matters, Kenyans have been urged to acquire the highest levels of education available locally to enhance their chances of getting jobs abroad. Michael Muindi, a lecturer at Kenyatta University, says the decline in population in Europe and America could open more opportunities for professionals in Africa to secure jobs. He was speaking during the handing over of a dormitory and cloakrooms for learners at Kitonyeni High School in Mumandu, Machakos County. The projects were funded by the Ministry of Education at a cost of 5.2 million shillings.
Equipped with the skills, then for sure they can work anywhere in the globe, because the same skills that they are acquiring in school are the same skills that are required in other places. If, for example, today a student from Kitonyeni qualifies to go to Kenyatta University, becomes a graduate teacher, they can actually teach anywhere in the world because our standards are global standards.
There's no way you are going to get an A, a B or a C+ if you are not disciplined. Lazima uwe mwanafunzi mwenye nidhamu ndiposa uweze kuchangia katika kufaulu kwako, ama ni kwa masomo ama baada ya masomo katika maisha.
And now in the sports arena, athletic stakeholders in Embu County are now calling for stiffer penalties to perpetrators of doping to ensure that young athletes are protected. Athletics Kenya Embu branch chairman Stephen Jeru said the National Assembly should pass a law that will ensure that those who engage in drugs are not only banned but also jailed to deter others from doping.
been the under-20 team selection at the University of Embu grounds, Athletics Kenya Embu branch chairman Stephen Jeru wants sportsmen from Mount Kenya to desist from drugs such as chewing miraa since it contains banned substances.
Hatujawahi fanya sub-county tena, wakati ule mwingine wote tunakujanga kwa county, tunafanya kitu kidogo ya county, tunachagua team alafu tunaenda regionals.
He also advised upcoming athletes to avoid over-the-counter medications as some of the drugs contain banned substances.
Tutachagua kikosi cha county ambacho governor amesema kitakuwa training, na tutakuwa tukibaki na wale under 20 wakati wote wa shule zikifungwa likizo, wakati wa likizo wote wanakuwa hapa Embu, tunakuwa tukiwa train.
Kenya Secondary School Sports Association Secretary Elijah Kiarie noted that the athletics initiative between Athletics Kenya and Embu County will go a long way to nurture and grow upcoming talents who will now have a permanent training camp.
Katika upande wetu wa secondary tumekuwa na shida ile ya capacity. Yaani hatujapata nafasi kabisa ya kuweka watoto wetu kwa camp, na hatujakuwa tukifanya vizuri sana katika mikoa, michezo yetu ya mikoa na hata nationals.
Embu County is in the process of selecting a team from all sub-counties to compete in the county championships, where a team will be selected from the regional championships. For Lunchtime News, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Reigning national champions Kenya Pipeline will take Zamalek of Egypt in the final of the 2023 Women's African Volleyball Club Championship in Tunisia. The final of the continental showpiece will be played on Monday in Hammamet.
The Paul Gitao charges labored before seeing off host Carthage of Tunisia by 3-2 in the semi-finals. CFC won the first set 25-18 before losing the second set 25-27. A rejuvenated Kenya Pipeline bagged the third set 25-23 but lost the fourth set 23-25 to send the match into the fifth set, which the Kenyan champions won 15-9 to book a slot in the final. The team qualified for the last four after beating NKF of Cameroon by 3 straight sets of 25-10, 25-13 and 25-21. On the other hand, CFC of Tunisia booked their place in the semi-finals after eliminating APR of Rwanda by 3 straight sets. Meanwhile, Egyptian side Zamalek humbled MCA of Algeria by 3-1 to qualify for the final. A new champion will be crowned this year after defending champions KCB lost to MCA of Algeria in the quarterfinals.
And now we shall be crossing over to the Deliverance Church along Kangondo Road, where the First Lady Rachel Ruto, Deputy President's wife Dorcas Gachagua, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja are among those joining the congregants. Now let's listen in.
To be our chaplain and for praying for us and for guiding us. Kwa miaka mingi, even when I was senator, even before I was a senator, Bishop JB has always been a dad to me, guiding me, sending me messages. Thank you. And next year now, when you have the cake, inasema 71, 40, inasema 50, alafu inasema 30, so itakuwa 40 ministry, 71 birthday, 48, utasema sasa 1 chaplain. Na itafika 1 to 10, utakuwa chaplain miaka 10. Because pia sisi tutakuwa hapo. Allow me, please, just to introduce. I'll start with the CECs from Nairobi County Government. Mawaziri ambao wako hapa, simama na introduce haraka haraka. That is SG Mwangi, is in charge of lands in Nairobi. So ile mambo umesema ya approval. In fact, we'll be very happy to have 15 floors here. It is going to be one of the tallest and a hallmark and a landmark around this area. SG Mwangi is in charge, and he has texted me saying the approval came. The request came in 2 weeks. You will have all those approvals for the building here. Patrick Mbogo is in charge of mobility and works. Watu wamoja wameona mabarabara zinatengenezwa, Church Road, Gakuyo, watu Kayole, a lot of works that are going on in the city. That is Mr. Mbogo is in charge of it. Thank you so much for being here. Dr. Anastasia Nyalita, she's the Minister for Health, the CC for Health and Wellness. In less than 8 months, Your Excellency, we've been able to open the first ICU. Nairobi County never had an ICU facility. Thanks to her work, we've opened an ICU here at Mama Lucy. Mid next month, we're opening another 28-bed one in Mbagathi. we are already paying our CHVs, community health volunteers, walikuwa hawajailipwa tangu Kenya ianze. We pay them every month before I get a salary. On the 26th, on the dot, wanapata mshahara yao, thanks to Dr. Nyalita and the work that the team is doing. I'll ask the chief officers to stand up. We'll start with our county secretary, that is Patrick Analo, he's the county secretary. We have Priscilla Mahinda, of course you know her, chief officer in my office of the governor. Bram Simiyu, in charge of disaster management. Tony Kimani, in charge of security and compliance, aka Kanjo 1. Huyu ndio anashikanga watu. Janet Opiata, she's in charge of public service management. We have Boniface Nyamu, wakili, he's in charge of mobility. So all the matatu issues, whatnot, is under Boniface Nyamu. Tom Nyakaba is in charge of public health. He's here with us. Akumali is in charge of markets. So he's the one to make sure that this market is up and running. And Mambo ya Masoko na Biashara, he's in charge of it. Thank you. Zipora Njeri is in charge of business and hustler opportunities. We have a docket called business and hustler opportunities. And we have Tyrus, who is in charge of Smart Nairobi. In ICT, Smart Nairobi. Nairobi is a global capital. And we have to make sure that it is smart. Thank you. I'll ask the MCAs to also stand up. But before the MCAs, I've seen other officers. We have our sub-county administrator, Celine. Now, huyu ndio DC, sio mimi. I was called a DC. This is now the DC, the District Commissioner of Embakasi West. In our context of the county government, that is Celine. She's the sub-county administrator. I've seen the sub-county commander also here, Catherine.
Well, those are live pictures from the Deliverance Church along Kangunda Road, where a section of leaders have converged to fellowship with the faithful led by First Lady Rachel Ruto. Now, in other news, Spanish giants Barcelona suffered a 2-1 defeat in their first match since winning La Liga as Real Sociedad boosted their Champions League qualification hopes. Meanwhile, in Bundesliga, Bayern Munich's hope for 11th successive Bundesliga title were dealt a major blow as they lost 3-1 to RB Leipzig.
Meanwhile, in Bundesliga, Bayern Munich's hope for 11th successive Bundesliga title were dealt a major blow as they lost 3-1 to RB Leipzig. However,
well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you so much for choosing Lunchtime News. For more news, check out our website at kbc.co.ke. My name is Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. Enjoy the rest of the Sunday.
Sina mahali kwingine naweza tafuta kazi.
Na nikisema nitakutafutia kazi mahali nyingine,
niliona tu kifo hivi na macho. Nisema hata ni appreciate marafiki zangu.
Amen.
Hata siku nimekuja kukaa.
Sawa, kwa heri.
Taonana.
Madam, out neja.
Amemgeuka kama kinyonga.
Ninaenda nadanganya.
How much do you want?
28,000 only.
Hey, mom.
Wewe Jabali, kwani unakubali mama yako akufundishe uongo?
Are you sure she's sick? The other day she was hallucinating.
Nilikuwa nikitaka nije nikae kwako hata kama ni wiki moja. Mkiniangalia tu vile niko.
I honestly think she's going mad. Just stop calling.
Give me your phone.
Hapana.
The shame and guilt will not allow him to listen to you.
I'm just tired.
Nikikuona kazona waza sikukuta mimi. Jamani. Mashallah.
Chama Sunday, what is going on?
What is going on, Wabe?
Karatasi ndakutia wapi?
Ya kusuilia unyevu na umomonyoko wa maji kwenye nguo zako.
Amata wasaba.
Ya bwana. Hey.
Congratulations. Wow.
Kai. Ni sumu mbaya sana hii. Sumu. Unanyolewa. Very good.
Wewe tatika. Nini? Friday prasa ya makanika ndio unaweka kwa masikio.
Barabara mpenzi mtazamaji, kumbuka tunapokutana ndivyo Waswahili wanapokutana katika bahari wakafanya uvuvi. Hii ndio siku aliyokwisha itenda Bwana na kutufanikishia ndoto. Tumetua katika shule ya Brookshine, ukipenda waite Brookshine. Sauti zilizoshiba mpenzi mtazamaji, tutakuwa tunapiga mbizi na makafi katika bahari hii kwenye sanaa ya Kiswahili. Tutakuwa tunapata bonge la burudani. Hapa ndipo nyumbani. Kumbuka tutapata kila aina ya sampuli. Lakini kumbuka sipo peke yangu. Katika shughuli nzima tutaweza kupiga hatua nikiwa na mwenzangu Harith Salim. Ustadi.
Naam, asante sana. Bila shaka Waswahili au wazee wa himaya za kale walisema dhahabu inapatikana penye tope jingi. Kwa hiyo leo tuko hapa katika shule ya Brookshine kujaribu kuchambua hili tope, tuone kama tutapata ile dhahabu ambayo tunaitafuta katika kipindi cha sanaa ya Kiswahili hapa Brookshine. Kwa hiyo mengi tutakuwa tunayapata baadaye kidogo, lakini kumbuka sio sisi tu, wapo wengine wengi ambao watakuwa wanajumuika nasi kwa njia moja au nyingine. Omani.
Wala, kumbuka mpenzi mtazamaji, wapo pia majaji watakaofanikisha ndoto yetu. Upande huu mwingine tupo naye mhadhiri wa chuo kikuu cha Laikipia, Henry Indindi, mwalimu wa salimu wanafunzi.
Burukia. Hamjambo. Karibuni katika kipindi cha sanaa, na naona mnavyotabasamu, inaonekana mtafanya mawasilisho